Hey there, I'm Robin Cash. So, I guess it's only fair that I get to talk about money stuff, right? We'll be working in a few areas. You've been getting familiar with the main dashboard for the last little bit on existing files. We'll start there, but then I'm going to walk you through how our admin screens work, and we'll actually build a new file so you can see how fees and payments work in Bailware. We're going to cover a lot of material in this video, like building a person, loading images, building a new file with charges, advancing the file status, and what can be done at different phases of the file and bond status. So it's going to be a little bit longer than the other training videos. Ready? Let's pull up my file. First, notice how the charges area is pulsing or breathing in yellow. That means I have a court date in the next 7 days. You'll see my charge, and bail was set at $10,000. We'll start by looking at the charges accordion, then move down one to the financial summary. The judge was nice to me and didn't require that to be a cash-only bond. You can see that in the first section. The second section is for the fees. You can see that the rate that our demo company charges for regular bonds is 10%, and the fees are summarized there. We also show that the fees for cash only is set at 15%. On the top line, you'll see the bond origination fees of $10. Now let's look over at the third block in the transactions accordion. You can see there the details that make up the summary information in the second block. You will also notice a payment there too, but there is still a remaining balance of $500. Now let's go to where we assign the percentages on a specific bond type. For that, we are going to navigate to Administration and Company Settings. This is where you customize Bailware to fit your business. What we're going to do is change the default bond amount to 11% for just a minute before we enter a new bond. Notice how the yellow highlight shows up on the line to let you know that you're running a different setting than Bailware's default. Not all settings can be changed by the company, and some settings can't be changed by someone with only agent-level access. Like for instance, I'm going to try to change the Bailware origination fee. Notice how there isn't a save button, and there's a message indicating that the setting cannot be changed at the company level. That's because Bailware mandates this pass-through fee on the file to make our base platform free to the bail bond company. Okay, on to building a new file. We start that process by identifying the defendant or incarcerated person. We click on the green Add Defendant button. The first thing Bailware wants to know is what jail the defendant is in. The next thing it provides you is a lookup window just in case the person is already in our system. I'm going to just start typing SA and see what matches. Notice that Bailware will attempt to find the individual in the platform, saving you data entry work. It'll show you some information like birth date and address to further confirm if you have the correct person. If you have their social security number, that's a pretty definitive match. If they are in the system, a double click will put them to the file. But let's enter a new person. My friend Joy Ryder isn't in the system yet, so we'll add her. I'm going to pause the video for just a second while I do most of the data entry. Okay, so this part is a feature I want to show you. Joy lives in Long Beach, in a different zip code. But I'm going to take a second and enter a zip code that spans 2 cities to show you how smart Bailware is. Bailware wants to fill in the city, state, and county for you once it knows the zip code. But in this case, the zip code spans 2 cities, so you get a pop-up to select the correct one. Usually this isn't the case, and it will simply autofill the data. I'm going to put her real zip code in now. I just so happen to have Joy's booking photo, so we'll use that. Once the photo is there, you'll need to give a description before you can save the image to her profile. Okay, now, this green button right here. When you click this, she gets saved to the platform before the file is saved. before the bond is written. So she's in the system now. Entering a cosigner is exactly the same process. I'm going to push pause and do that really quick. Notice the red header on the file. That's because the file itself isn't saved yet. Let's take a minute to add some charges for joy. You can see that although the bond isn't signed yet and the file isn't saved yet, we're building out the summary information and the transactions. Notice our new 11% default bail fee? I'm going to save the file now by clicking on the green Save File button at the top by the red banner. Notice that the file status shows unsigned, and now there is a blue button that says Record and Save Bond Agreement. Also note that because the file status is still unsigned, you can still do a new charge if one comes up. Now, different bail bond companies handle their bond paperwork differently. Some have these lengthy, pre-printed bond agreements. Here in Bailware, we can take those forms and make them printable. So I'm going to print a copy out and get it signed by Sue Flay, the cosigner, and scan it back into our system. I'm going to pause again while I do that. Now, Bailware doesn't let you accept payment until the file is moved into an open status. The bond has to be signed. You do that by clicking the blue Record and Save Bond button. Now, in our demo database, we have an application setting, like before, that prevents us from saving the bond without a scanned copy, a PDF, of the bond agreement. So we always have a digital copy of it, but you could adjust that if you wanted to. Also note that this is where you log your actual bond number. And the rules for adding charges works like this. As long as the file is in an unsigned status, you can go in and add more charges. But once the bond is written, once that blue button is clicked, you can't modify the charges. That's a change of arrangement, change of contract, if you will, that requires a new bond to be written. You can add more fees, take payments, all that stuff. You just can't add more charges. Notice how the Add Charges button went away once I saved the bond agreement? We covered a lot in this session. Don't feel bad if you need to watch this video again. I'm going to wrap things up. Thanks for hanging in there.